rest of the wide receiver group is underwhelming. Kincaid's had some moments. They need a playmaker in the worst way this offseason. I know they keep trying to get it done or pick these guys off. Maybe Keon Coleman will be that guy. Maybe Josh Palmer will be that guy. It's not working. They haven't replaced Stephon Diggs, and it shows. And I think Josh Allen could use some help. So Buffalo Bills in the offseason, free agency, NFL draft, get yourself a big playmaker.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Notre Dame playing very well, in a position to crack the top 12. Now they have to take care of business.
Here's what I want from and again, we're going to go over who we think is actually going to make the playoffs here a little bit later in the show. But understand this, Joe. I don't want any ACC in there. I don't want any Big 12 in there. Just give me the Big 10 and the SEC. And Mike, quite frankly, if you just gave me Ohio State, Indiana, and the rest of the SEC, boom, boom.
Nah.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Let me ask you this. If they brought in Belichick, you don't think that... Yeah.
Go off North Carolina,
yeah, they're playing much better now.
I wouldn't let him coach my kids. I don't even have any.
I tell you what, they would be more disciplined than what they are now.
No, they wouldn't. They'd be lifeless.
Yes, they would.
They'd be lifeless.
Yes, Brian Dable is a gutless head coach.
Came off a bye against
gutless
Clemson.
Head coach.
3 plays in, they gave him 150 yards.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
But here we go. This is like, Pet Sematary. You guys don't remember this movie from the 1980s. But look, goodbye Tom Brady, I guess, wants to keep the generation alive. Couldn't he just have had this dog breed and just take the puppy of some kind? I don't know. But hey, Tom Brady does different things. Maybe this is just a signal for cloning in the future for humans. I'm not really sure here.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It's Friday, party people. You made it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, out the window. It is a football Friday right here on the early line on the SportsGrid Network. And over the next 2 hours, we got you covered on all the latest topics here, which includes an action-packed Saturday in college football, an unbelievable 13-game card on Sunday that ends with the Detroit Lions taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. We have so many hot topics to get to. Awards were handed out yesterday. Soccer leagues changing their time frames here, Joe. This is a perfect time to get down to business here in mid-November with us. Right here on the early line, I'm Donnie Rightside. He's Joe Ranieri. The time to know is now. Let's go.
Donnie, I'm laughing. I just can't believe it's middle of November already.
Yeah,
I mean, Turkey Day is almost here. College football's almost done. It is absolutely a beautiful time of year. That is for sure.
And then we can sink our teeth into the NBA when everybody sits out every single game and away we go. But it's a Football Friday here on the SportsGrid Network. If you need caffeination, you're about to get it right now. Joe, give me the latest.
All right, Donnie. So today I want to officially close the book on one of the oldest and most subjective debates in all of sports. Who is the greatest, pick a sport, player of all time? Now, I get we can make the argument when it comes to the NBA. For many watching, in fact, LeBron James might be considered the greatest of all time. I know a lot of guys that grew up saying Dr. J, Kareem, Magic, Bird. My generation, we all know who the GOAT is, number 23. But I can officially say that when it comes to the who's the greatest baseball player of all time debate, well, Donnie, that debate is over. We can all stop it because the answer is here, and his name is Shohei Ohtani. And last night, Ohtani was unanimously named the MVP for the 4th time in the last 5 years, and every single one of them has been unanimous. Do you understand how insane that is? In a sport with people who vote on things like this, can't get on the same page for anything, but they have all been on the same page about this. When he's healthy, no one else in the sport is even worthy of a first place vote. Look, I've been watching this game my entire life, Donnie, as you have. I grew up with the legends. I watched Reggie and Ricky Henderson, Molitor, Yount, Wade Boggs. I watched the prime of Barry Bonds, and I'm telling you, I have never seen anything that comes even close to what we are witnessing right now. And spare me the whole, but Bonds has 7 MVPs argument. Bonds was a monster. Could be, and I don't even want to say could be, greatest hitter I think I've ever seen. But he wasn't also an ace pitcher. And at this rate, Ohtani is going to blow past that 7 MVP record anyway. What did this guy do this year, Donnie? Nothing. Just won a World Series again while hitting 55 home runs. Had a 1.014 OPS while simultaneously pitching 14 games with a 2.87 ERA while actively rehabbing from Tommy John surgery. It is video game stuff. It's not normal. This isn't a once-in-a-generation player. This is a once-in-a-century, lifetime, forever player. This is once in the history of the sport player. So my messaging today is very simple. Stop comparing, stop debating, and just appreciate what you are seeing and watching. We are lucky enough to be alive to see the single greatest talent to ever play the game of baseball. Every generation thinks they have their GOAT. We're the ones who are actually watching him. Enjoy it, Donnie, because it will never, ever come along again.
Yep, and we've been saying it for a while now, Joe. The only way he doesn't win the MVP is people just get fatigued. Oh, he only hit 40 home runs this year? Ooh, his ERA is 3.75. That's not good enough. Let's just put some random guy in there. It's going to happen to him, but you're right. As long as he's playing and healthy, Joe, if he hits 230 at the plate, 30 home runs, and pitches to a 4.5 ERA over 30 games, he's the MVP, and it's not even close. There is no debate with those numbers intact. So just, you're right. Enjoy him while you got him. It seems like it's going to continue for at least the next couple of years, and it should here. How many MVPs? We'll get that out there. But by the way, quick PSA on this. Major League Baseball. You do things so stupidly here. On a random Monday night at night, you just release like the MVPs here. You know what would have been awesome? The day the season ended, tabling up the ballots, getting them out there, and saying Ohtani's the winner. So you can enjoy him and talk about his MVP run throughout the entirety of a single playoff year. You can't do that now because why? Oh, footnote. Oh, look, Ohtani won. Yeah, way to go. Good job on that stuff here. Great caffeinated, Joe. We appreciate it. Let's get to the big topics here, which includes the early lineup today. The New England Patriots easily dispatched the Jets 27-14. And hey, how about those odds makers out there almost nailing this game? The Patriots are the better team. The Jets can't pass the football. What's new with the hottest team in the NFL? It is the Patriots.
It is absolutely the Patriots. And it didn't look good early on there, Donnie. I want to thank the Patriots, by the way, for missing that chip shot field goal at the end of the half that would have given us a 10-point lead. No, appreciate that. That was outstanding. But for the most part, listen, anybody that took the Jets unders for Fields and Hall and other guys, I can't even believe they got 14 points, Donnie. But the Patriots, listen, you win the games you're supposed to win, and they're doing just that right now, sitting at 8-2.
Like some outlets yesterday were 127.5, 128.5, 129.5 on Fields. And of course, and he was down double digits in the second half, holding through for 116 yards last night. Just the way it is. The Patriots 9-2. By the way, Drake May smooth in the pocket yesterday. We'll certainly talk about him much more as the season goes on. Brock Purdy, another quarterback here. He got paid, and he's finally getting back in the saddle this weekend. He will be the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers.
And that's good stuff. I mean, listen, Mac Jones made himself probably a lot of money as his backup here this season, Donnie, for what he's done. But Purdy was the rightful starter here, and I don't think they're going to skip a beat. I still think they're going to be exactly the kind of offense they were with Mac Jones in there. They're going to be capable, and they're going to have to put up a lot of points.
Anticlimactic here, Major League Baseball. Once again, we just talked about Ohtani MVP and also Aaron Judge. You know, it would have been awesome handing them their MVP trophies while they're in a playoff race in front of their home crowd, but instead you bury it on a mid-November Monday night while football is going on. Baseball, you just can't get. The biggest superstar in the world is Shohei Ohtani, and you send it out on a Monday night. Embarrassing.
Yeah, it kind of crazy here. I mean, listen, Ohtani, there was never a question. It was funny how Judge was minus 10,000 at one point during the season, Donnie, and then at the end, we could have got him for about even money. Pretty funny.
Yeah, betting scandals here. Get used to those. Why? Because if the government says, hey, man, you ain't doing it legally, we're not getting our cut here, you go into jail. 14 people getting indicted here on a betting ring that also includes some college players.
Yeah, well, we knew this was coming. It was just a matter of time before they handed it down. But yes, there is, again, Donnie, was back to one of my points originally. The legalization of it has allowed us to find these kinds of pockets across the board and eliminate them.
By the way, reading some of the details there, Joe, it's like over a 3-year period, I believe, 2 to 3 years. It was only $2 million, which if legalized gambling wasn't here, that probably would have said like $25 million bet. So still trying to scrape away and make money, but the government's going to catch you eventually. And they did here. San Diego Padres, they're up for sale. And why not? The Dodgers are right up the road. You can't compete with their payroll. Sell before it gets out of control. And that's what the Padres are looking to do.
It's funny because they certainly did try to outspend the Dodgers, didn't they, Donnie? Yep. Early on, they really, really did, and they realized that, well, maybe that doesn't necessarily work if we don't know what we're doing. So, yeah, not a shock that they are looking to get out of Dodge now.
Now, what is up with this soccer story right here? Cristiano Ronaldo gets a red card, and now he might not be able to play in the World Cup. Do away with the yellow and the red card. Send them fines. Let them play in the next game. Enough with this nonsense.
Yeah, you're going to keep Ronaldo out of the world? Stop it.
Yeah,
stop it. It's not going to happen. Yeah, switch it to a yellow card. Oops, I made a mistake. Not a red. I meant it was yellow. Oops, sorry.
I mean, give the red card to Salt Bay or somebody. Just throw it out to somebody else and just get rid of that thing. Superstars need to play on the biggest stage, and trust me, they will do that here. Spreadlines coming up on a Football Friday. Don't miss it. We'll be right back.
We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF.
Is that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF.
So he's got
now.
an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72 to
Keep
nothing.
that dude away from polite society.
Okay, brother, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Numerous pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Come on down. Enjoy yourself some of the top spread lines here on a Football Friday right here on the SportsGrid Network. Donnie, right side here, Joe Ranieri. We got a big deal here because we got Friday Night Football, we got Saturday Football, we got Sunday Football, and it's our job to get you prepared on some of those games you might not be paying attention to. Even if the lines are long, don't worry about it. We're going to explain some things to you, and that starts tonight, Joe, 9 o'clock. This is coming from out there in Oregon. Minnesota going to travel to take on Oregon in a Big Ten battle. if you will. This line opened up, Joe, 21.5. Oof. 25.5, even 26.5 now in the marketplace, and a total, which I still can't get over. This is back-to-back weeks. We have Oregon in the low 40s on a total. Now, I understand they're down some wide receivers, and Minnesota isn't the fastest team, Joe, but what is that spread line tonight for Minnesota and Oregon?
Donnie, it's spot on, right? You got Minnesota coming off a bye week, no less. Take on an Oregon team that just had a battle on their hands at Iowa and got it done late there. And you're right, banged up. 3 of their top pass catchers, probably maybe 1 out of the 3 are going to be there. But you notice that line movement like I did. It has been nothing but Oregon money all week long. And the reason that low total, Donnie, has nothing to do with whether Oregon can score points. The question is whether Minnesota can score any points, Donnie, because we've already seen Minnesota play 2 other teams on the road that don't have maybe quite the talent Oregon does. They only scored 3 points against Iowa, Donnie, and we saw what Ohio State did to them, and now they're going to go and take on Oregon. So, yes, the market is not buying letdown or anything along those lines. They are buying an Oregon blowout, and so am I.
2-touchdown favorite last week, Joe, was Indiana at Penn State. They scraped by an unbelievable catch in the back of the end zone to save a win for Indiana. Now they come home and take on Wisconsin. Let's double that line and more, Joe. It's not 14.5, it's 29.5 as it sits currently right now, and a low total of 43.5. We know Wisconsin can't score that much. Indiana can. Indiana, after a scare last week, are they going to be on their P's and Q's this week with a dominant effort? Your spread line is what for this game with Indiana and Wisconsin?
Well, that's another one of these, right? Up now 29.5. It was 30.5, but 29.5, Donnie, and a total of 44.5. Very reminiscent of what we just had here with the Minnesota at Oregon game. But I think they're very similar. Why? Because much like Minnesota, how is Wisconsin scoring any points here? Offensively, they're terrible. Now, they are halfway decent defensively, but we already know what happens here with Cignetti. I mean, they were lucky to get by, and all they heard all week was how lucky they were to get by on the road against Penn State. Well, now they're home, Donnie, and they're taking on a team that is not going to be able to match them offensively. This is another one that's got blowout written all over it.
Penn State and Michigan State. East Lansing takes center stage. I don't know for what here. You got one team that's getting penalized here on probation. You got Penn State, who's looking for their first Big Ten win as we sit mid-November. Oh, my goodness, what a season here. But Penn State traveling in as the favorite, Joe, as many as a touchdown to just over a touchdown at -7.5 and a total at 49.5. The Battle of the States on Saturday, 3:30 Eastern. What's the spread line here?
Well, yeah, what you're seeing here, Donnie, is this was 7.5 here, and now we're starting to see a lot more Michigan State money hit the board, and it makes sense here. I mean, give Penn State credit, right? Not been the season for them. They lose Drew Aller. They fire their head coach in Franklin, and they laid it all out of line. Iowa, Ohio State, Indiana last week. What does this team have left in the tank here? Because they're still winless in Big Ten play, and they've lost 6 straight games here. And now we're supposed to believe that they're going to get up to go to Michigan State and somehow, Donnie, put together this amazing effort. And while the Spartans here, we talked about it, vacated 14 wins over the last couple of years, I just don't see what Penn State is going to bring to the table here. I agree with the market move. Hurry up and get the touchdown while you can, because I think this lands under a touchdown, Donnie, by the time this game goes to kick.
Let's get over to the Meadowlands on a Sunday afternoon. It could be blustery at MetLife because the Green Bay Packers in town, fresh off of a beatdown from the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, if you call it a beatdown, it was close. But also the week before that, they lost to Carolina. Can they lose 3 games in a row? Jameis Winston will be in their way. A touchdown favorite for Green Bay on the road in a total that's sinking from 45.5 to 42.5. Jameis Winston gets the start for the Giants. What's your spread line here, Joe?
All right, so here's what you need to know about the whole fired head coach bounce thing here with Dable, right? We know Kafka's and we're starting to learn a whole lot more, by the way, on just the total dysfunction with Dable in that building here. But first games with an interim head coach, Donnie, 16-7 against the number over the last 10 years. Why? Because it gives teams an opportunity for a reset in the locker room here. And I think we can all agree that maybe Jameis Winston, quietly in that locker room, was the one guy that we all knew was maybe the best passer on the team, and not taking anything away from Jackson Dart, but he's a rookie here. So we knew that he was going to be able to get under center at some point. He could probably push the ball downfield. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And by the way, that's why there's no more hook available in this. It's why this line isn't going to continue to rise. If anything, Donnie, this line is going to continue to go towards the Giants. Do not trust Green Bay, who have now gone back-to-back, Donnie, at home as big favorites and weren't able to get the job done. They were upset. Not a good spot for Green Bay.
Let's take a look at the NBA tonight, 9:30 tip time. The Golden State Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs in San Antonio. You might say to yourself, like, wait a second, did we just see that? Yeah, we did. That's a scheduling quirk in the NBA where Golden State just got to hang around San Antonio. You want to talk about rested and ready for this game? Both of these participants should be there. 235.5 as a total. 2.5-point favorite for the Spurs, who just a couple games ago were 4.5-point favorites here when Golden State was coming out of Oklahoma City on a back-to-back. Spread line tonight in the NBA. Golden State and San Antonio is what?
Well, by the way, that's the Raptors and Cavs line from last night, which we told you to back Toronto in the 7.5, and they did cover that. But you're right, Donnie. We just saw this with Cleveland and Miami, right? Where it was 2 games in 3 days. This is NBA Cup action here tonight. You got to think, now, San Antonio had that game in hand, except for a terrible third quarter in which Steph Curry did his thing. Does that happen again here tonight? I don't think so.
Nah, we need to talk about Steph Curry's shoe plan here coming up as well, Joe. We'll be right back.
We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly, Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF
Oh, is
now.
that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF
So he's got
now.
an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72 to nothing.
Keep that dude away from polite society.
Okay, brother, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Numerous pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
We did have an NFL football on last night, and the question was going to be hey, the Jets picked up a victory against the Cleveland Browns. How will that translate to an early Thursday night game the following week on the road against New England? Probably exactly what we thought. The odds makers, Joe, 11.5, 12.5, 13.5, back to 12.5. The game final, 27-14 New England Patriots here. Drake May was smooth, 25 of 34, 281, a touchdown pass, no interceptions, and a pass rating of 107.6. The winning streak continues as it should, because you're supposed to beat a Jets team that's really devoid of talent. The takeaway from this game, New England did exactly what they had to do, and they're moving forward with their season, Joe.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it was a heck of a start for the Jets too. I mean, I didn't have a 17. Yeah, I didn't have a 17 play touchdown drive to open the game up against that defense, but that's exactly what we ended up getting there. But no overreaction by New England. They settled it down there. They kind of stifled them the rest of the way until the second half, where they got one more. But for the most part, it was methodical, and it felt like New England was just kind of buying enough time there in order to wait for the Jets to self-implode. And, you know, when you have Justin Fields at 116 yards passing the ball and the leading rusher, nothing good is going to happen offensively for the New York Jets.
Yeah, let's hear from Aaron Glenn on the loss of the Patriots. Can we make this rosy or not?
You talk about details and discipline. Are you referring to penalties, or is there something else?
Well, just across the board. I have very high standards for our team in general. And that's the one thing that we talk about quite a bit, and I will never go away from those standards. And the players know that, and they have bought into that, and they know that too. And when I say details and discipline, again, I'm not just talking about the players. I'm talking about us as coaches too. We have to make sure that we're on the same page, and we're doing the things that we have to do to help those guys. So this is not a one-way street where everything is on the players. You know, coaches is involved in that too.
The film, but how do you think Justin played overall?
Listen, there are some good things. There's some really good things. I thought he put some balls out there, and we got to have some guys that make some plays for him too. Obviously, I know for a fact that he's going to say there's some things that he could have done better. Again, we do have to watch the tape, but I thought there were some good things he did out there.
Yeah, he did some good things, which means running the football, because he's really a running back at this point. You're not putting your team in the position to win, but also, Joe, we do have to understand this. If you are a Jets fan and you're watching the Jets, the last thing you want to do is win any football games at this point. So is it smart for the Jets to say, we're going to really stagnate our offense and know that we can't hit those levels that we need technically to win unless we get multiple special teams touchdowns? So I can't fault Aaron Glenn. If he goes, you know, we can't tank games. You know, we'll get fined by the NFL. But if I continue to send Justin Fields out there, we're effectively tanking games with not much of a chance to win, and that's probably what you should be doing anyway, right?
And just put a positive spin on it, Donnie, because that's all they can do at this particular point is because they don't have any of the talent. They traded away all their best players. You got good effort. I mean, back-to-back wins they had. Didn't have that either on the card there, though it was the Browns and the Bengals. But the reality is that, any other team that is 500 or better, the chances of the Jets being competitive in those games are going to be slim to none, Donnie.
Yeah, I mean, you just watch the game as the way it played out, and you're right, Joe. That was a really impressive first drive until you realize and go, the quarterback didn't do anything in the air, like threw for like 10 yards and they scored, which is great. Like, what would you rather as a franchise, go 72 yards and throw for 62 and rush for 10, or vice versa? Now, they did put up a fight in the first half, but it was clear they just don't have the talent, and that's why they were 2 touchdown underdogs. But I want to flip this over to the New England Patriots now, Joe. First team to 9 wins in the NFL, 9-2, 4-2 at home. Still can't believe they lost to the Raiders to open the season, but this team has been growing. It's an easy schedule, so they're not getting a lot of credit. But when we look at the Patriots, all you can ask them to do, Joe, how many times you hear this? We only can play who's on the schedule, and they're winning those football games.
And that's all that matters, Donnie, right? You've been doing it, and listen, Vrabel knows that better than anybody. Is just, this whole stretch is about preparing these guys, giving them the experience, and getting ready for what should be a postseason run. And that's it. And that's what this whole season has been about. But give credit to Josh McDaniel for coaching up Drake May here and putting him in a position to be successful. That's why coaching matters in the NFL.
Look at that, Joe, right? We put a competent coaching staff in New England. They're winning football games. Yes, competent coaches absolutely matter. Let me ask you this, Joe. Drake May surging here in the polls to win MVP. Is that reality? Could that actually happen? Drake May, MVP 2025?
No. Stop it, people. No, not going to happen. It's absolutely not going to happen. It's one thing to beat the Jets and others like it. Let's see what he does going toe-to-toe against Stafford.
Come on, let's go, people. Buy into the Patriots. Are you on a Football Friday? We got more football coming up next.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
A little bit of a brand crisis when it comes to the league going from 54 to 72. Although I think it can help some players, I think it kind of hurts the brand of the league and what it kind of stood for, the innovation, the loudness, the different aspects of the game, the whole shotgun aspect, which makes it different. But is it better for these guys when they show up in majors?
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay Packers sort of seeing their season slip away. You took 2 NFC losses back-to-back, one to the Panthers, which was inexcusable, and one to a pretty good team in the Philadelphia Eagles. It was a close game. You just couldn't get it done. The one thing that was the constant, Joe, in both of those games was not the Packers' defense. They were very good. It's the Packers' offense. It's been MIA. Now, they're going to take on a team in the New York Giants that isn't very good on defense, but it is a road game here, and it is in the Meadowlands, which we know is going to have cooler temperatures and windy, blustery conditions on Sunday. Surely not going to help Jordan Love, but at the same time, you're supposed to easily dispatch of the Giants. But the Giants added a little bit of life to their locker room here by announcing Jameis Winston is going to be the starting quarterback. Now, understand this. As a wide receiver and the way you play and the rest of your team, if you are the Jets, he said, Donnie, why are you talking about the Jets right now? We're talking about the Giants. Hear me out on this, Joe. When the Jets play and their quarterback is Justin Fields, the wideouts go, I'm doing cardio for 3 hours. And, oh, my goodness, I didn't even expect the ball to come to me. It was actually a good pass, but I wasn't ready for it here. That's not the case now. The Giants are like, you know what? Wide receivers, we're getting the football this weekend. This is going to be fun. Joe, 7-point spread here. Green Bay the favorite on the road against the Giants. What are we doing with this one here with Jameis back?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I think we can all agree that a lot of us, and I bet a whole lot of them in the locker room probably suspected that the best passer on that team in that locker room was Jameis, and he couldn't even sniff the field there with Dable, who feels like he was always coaching for his life and for his job there, but Winston, right guy at the right time here is what it feels like. And as far as the offense goes for Green Bay, I mean, who's he throwing the ball to, Jordan Love here? Golden couldn't suit up last game. Who knows if he's going to be in now? We already know Tucker Kraft was the only guy that could get any separation and get open in the receiving room there. Christian Watson, D'Antonian Wicks, Samuel Williams. What do they have? I mean, Jaden Reed's still out because of a foot injury. Who are they throwing the ball to, and who exactly is going to get open for them that is why back-to-back weeks at home, Donnie, they were favorites and they lost both outright. So not a good situation right now for the Packers offensively.
No, it's not. And Christian Watson, who, again, they said, don't worry about it. He's only on the injury report because he's sore at this point. You ever watch that movie Unbreakable? It was like, I don't know, maybe probably like 20, 25 years ago. Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson played a guy called Mr. Glass in that, where every time he got touched, something broke in his body. It's a shame because that dude's got some wheels out there, just can't stay healthy. I have my eye on this game because I'm interested to see what the Packers actually will do. Now, every game, Joe, as we talk about, not built like the other ones. And yes, we have to talk about this one. The Houston Texans on the road to take on the Tennessee Titans. Davis Mills will get another start because C.J. Stroud not going to rush him back from a concussion, and you still should win this football game. Improbable comeback last week, sort of a season saver there for Houston against Jacksonville. Now they get what's supposed to be a layup on the road against a rested Titans team, Joe. 5.5 to 6 is in the marketplace. How do we feel about this game?
I feel like throwing up thinking about watching this game, Donnie,
Right.
is what I do. Yeah,
this.
listen, this is, all right, Tennessee, we know, very much like the New York Jets, just not a ton of talent. They're kind of in transition. They do have their franchise quarterback, but they got to get a new coach. There's going to be a new regime coming in. There's a lot of question marks surrounding this team, but they're just not good enough offensively. But neither is Houston. But Houston does have the better defense on the field. I don't know how we're going to get 40 points in this game or 38 points or more in this game, Donnie. It feels like when you have two teams like this struggling offensively, the team totals or the unders are the only way that I would look. Because otherwise, good luck trying to figure out who's going to score enough points in order to win this game.
Yeah, some of these games I really like on Sunday afternoon. Some of them I don't, which also includes this next game, Carolina and Atlanta. How much energy is going to be in the building in Atlanta? Two teams, not great football last week, to say the least, and not great football in the season overall. 42.5 as the total. The favorite, though, is Atlanta at home, -3.5. Penix has to play better football. It also comes down to, it just can't be, well, my only wideout's Drake London and my only opportunity to run the football might be with BJ at this point right now. Something has to break. The better team is Atlanta, but do you even trust them as a favorite at all?
No, but I do trust Carolina as an underdog. I don't trust Carolina as a favorite. Obviously, we saw that last week against New Orleans here. But yeah, call me crazy here. I think this situation plays right into Carolina's hands. This is how they perform. They love being the underdog in this situation. They are coming off a horrible offensive performance. They have an offensive-minded head coach. I think Atlanta could be in trouble here in this spot. I would absolutely grab the hook, Donnie, while it's available here, because I don't see it growing to 4.5. I think it will only go the other way.
Feels like elimination time in college football each and every week now, where we sort of weed the good teams out versus the bad teams. Who's going to make the college football playoff? Has that vibe between Chicago and Minnesota, at least for the NFC North division. Caleb Williams going on the road after a comeback victory against the New York Giants. Minnesota looking to bounce back from that loss against the Baltimore Ravens. This line has stayed steady, Joe, all week. Opened up at 2.5, still sits at 2.5 just about at every outlet here. And then we take a look at 46.5s to around 47.5s, depending where you're shopping at. And even now, 48.5 in the marketplace here. Chicago, Minnesota, don't have to worry about any windy or cold conditions. They'll be in the dome. What do we feel about this game?
Yeah, this is an interesting one here, Donnie. And talking to a lot of people this week, everybody is on Minnesota. I mean, my goodness. The problem is J.J. McCarthy has not been good here, and he certainly hasn't been good as what the Vikings had hoped that he would be here, because he's not throwing the ball down the field, especially with the receivers he has. I mean, he's kind of dinking and dunking his way down the road. And I can't believe I'm going to say it, but Caleb Williams has been the guy that's been pushing the ball down the field, and he hasn't been that bad at it. So, yeah, I am not sold that it's just back Minnesota. They're going to get it done here. Far too many people think Minnesota's the right side here, and yet the numbers tell me the Bears could very well be the outright winner of this game.
This one sounds like a pretty good public opinion right now. The Los Angeles Chargers is going to fly from the West Coast to the East Coast to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars in Florida. The Jags, having a 29-10 lead in the fourth quarter, lost to the Houston Texans here, and the Chargers cleaned up the Pittsburgh Steelers in prime time. This line opened up at 2.5 threes, depending on where you're shopping at. Still sitting there, Joe, mostly threes across the board, and a total of 43.5. But I'm seeing 7 out of every 10 tickets here coming in on the Chargers here. The Chargers are the flashier team, and Jacksonville's not healthy at wide receiver, but this line really isn't going anywhere, Joe.
Yeah, and it's because Jacksonville's getting a little bit of love here, and I kind of agree with it. I mean, listen, the Chargers, I've never seen it. I mean, Justin Herbert held on to the ball, you ready for this, for just 2.21 seconds every time he threw the ball against the Steelers. That is the fastest of his career, Donnie. Obviously, with a shorthanded offensive line, that is completely handicapping what this team would like to do. They can't run the ball, and they can't trust Herbert to go back there to try to take any shots downfield because they know he's going to get absolutely killed. And Jacksonville's got a couple of good edge rushers there in Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker, who are wrecking havoc right now on offensive lines. What are they going to do to the 2 backup tackles on this team? This is a very dangerous spot here for the Chargers.
It is, but you take a look at the dome teams going outdoors, and a lot of times we'll talk about that when it's colder conditions, which you'll see like Sunday night in Philadelphia, a little bit of wind here, Detroit playing in a dome. But when you take a look at the Chargers coming East Coast, Joe, 75-degree temperatures, no rain in the forecast, winds around 10 miles per hour. That could help out. The Chargers are a tough team to gauge, Joe, because the one thing we know about betting football and watching football teams and how they succeed, you got to win in the trenches. Their D-line and the defense very good for the Chargers, but the offensive line, sometimes you say, why isn't this offense working here? Well, if you get pressure against a really bad offensive line, it's hard to have your offense run, and that's some of the issues that the Chargers will run into this weekend. But again, public favorites here on the Chargers, no surprise. Everybody saw them do very well in prime time. Oh, no, look how bad the Jacksonville Jaguars are. We understand how that works out. Now, Tom Vecchio is going to come up next. We'll go over some prop bets that you should be paying attention to this weekend in NFL action. We'll be right back.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show on SportsGrid.
35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
A little bit of a brand crisis when it comes to the league going from 54 to 72. Although I think it can help some players, I think it kind of hurts the brand of the league and what it kind of stood for, the innovation, the loudness, the different aspects of the game, the whole shotgun aspect, which makes it different. But is it better for these guys when they show up in majors?
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Big games, big money. It's a Football Friday here on the Sports Grid Network. I'm Donnie Rightside. He's Joe Neary. Now we bring in our guy, Tom Vecchio, here for a big weekend of information. Specifically, Tom, on a Football Friday, we want to talk some NFL. How are we feeling today?
I'm feeling good. You know, it was a good game last night, a little bit better than I was anticipating. I think a lot of people were anticipating. Really great week in the NFL. A lot of close games. There's some heavy favorites out there, but we have a lot of close games that are toss-ups, a lot of playoff-bound teams that are facing each other. I think we're in for an awesome week.
Absolutely. And also, we are, Tom, in mid-November, which means it used to be like September and October. Like, I'm going to check to see if it's rainy because otherwise it's 75 degrees, it's nice weather, and you move on. Windy conditions are starting to pop up, and that's going to mean something here. I want to talk about a game at 1 o'clock on Sunday in Buffalo, and that's between Tampa and Buffalo. You take a look at Baker Mayfield last week going up against the New England Patriots. They took a loss. Buffalo, maybe the worst loss of the week, absolutely embarrassed by the Miami Dolphins on the road. This is a monster game for both of these teams looking to win their divisions. The line opened up here, at least at FanDuel, 6.5. It's back to about 5.5 now. And the total, still up there, Tom. High, close to 50, 47.5, 48.5, depending on where you're shopping at. Windy conditions in Buffalo, but my question to you is, what am I getting or the expectations for the Buffalo offense this week?
You know, I would expect them to try to get back to the ground game. You know, that's what they really should be trying to do, especially in this circumstance, coming off a loss, though, especially the way that they did. But the Bucs' run defense is super solid. It's always been strong year after year. You know, wanting to get Cook and Allen involved on the ground, I think, is the right way to go about things. But I think this is too many points for the Bills to be laying at home. I know they often blow teams out at home, but this is not the same capacity of team that we are dealing with. And the Bucs are trending to getting healthier with Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin potentially coming back. That's not yet confirmed, but I would lean on the under, and I would take the points with the Bucs. I see this as a rock fight type of game before we see an explosive offense from both sides.
Looking at it under in that one, Tom, I mean, 47.5. I mean, it feels like if I can't run the ball, neither team, I think, is going to have a whole lot of success running the ball here. So then it comes down to what? Just Josh Allen versus Baker Mayfield, and it's not going to be a crazy shootout, is it?
I don't think so. And, you know, the problem I have with Buffalo, and I've said it before, is like they have a lot of good options. Like I'm not sure if Dalton Kincaid's going to play this week, but Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, like they have a bunch of good receivers. And I think those receivers excel when they can be put into spots where they don't have to be the focal point of the offense. And they can do the play action. And the run game is the starting point of the offense. And it's like, okay, you give me 40 yards, you give me 30, you give me another 35 here. It's like we have a really balanced offense. And the same thing we said about the Bucs, where, you know, are you getting Chris Godwin back? Emeka Egbuka, their rookie, has been fantastic. But again, what type of consistency do you have across the board? Because Baker struggles at times when you don't have like a go-to guy with the Mike Evans. So I would lean under in that game.
Let's take a look at a fun game, too. Maybe not the best game of the day, but an interesting one nonetheless. And wind is going to also be a factor. That's in the Meadowlands, Tom, here where the New York Giants are going to take on the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers reeling after 2 straight losses in the NFC, one to Carolina and one to Philadelphia. But the Giants come back with Winston. So you know interesting certainly is going to be at the top of the board. It's a 7-point favorite here for the Green Bay Packers. What does the Giants offense look like with Jameis Winston against a really good Packers defense?
I would say try and look as simple as possible. Just pick up first downs, right? Get Slayton involved, get Wan'Dale Robinson, Theo Johnson involved, and just try and keep the game within reach. I think that's a reasonable way to put it. It's like if you fall down by 14 in 2 scores, the game's over. If you can keep this within 7, I think you'll have a shot, at least keeping it close. And obviously, the Giants have been playing super close games. The Packers offense has not been looking good, but I have a prop in that game, and it's from a passing perspective. I want to go to Jordan Love over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And a lot of this comes from the fact of really how they've played over the past 2 weeks. If Love looked okay-ish in the past 2 weeks and, 250 yards, a touchdown or 2, maybe I wouldn't love this prop. But the fact that he was so bad and the offense was terrible in the past 2 games, I think they need this as like, we got to get our mojo back. Like Josh Jacobs will get one on the ground, but Love and the offense needs to have the optimism and the confidence to go deep into the season with him saying, I can win us a game if we need to, because we haven't seen that over the past 2 weeks.
So what are you thinking, Tom, where it's funny, this 49ers and Arizona game, we know Brock Purdy back under center. We know Harrison Jr. out. And I still think we're going to get a ton of points in this game here. And who do you favor? Because it seems to be a lot of San Francisco love in the marketplace now. But it's not like Jacoby Brissett hasn't been dealing.
Right. Jacoby Brissett's been super solid. I've always said, I think he's one of the top tier backup quarterbacks in the league. Like, he's actually above viable when it's all said and done. Purdy coming back is good. Like, he is better than Mac Jones. But are we going to hit the ground running with Brock Purdy? Like, that's my main question. Like, are we going to be like, oh, it's week 1, week 2, he's ready to go, we're firing on all cylinders? Or are there going to be some quote-unquote growing pains? Ricky Pearsall is going to be getting back. So, can we expect I would expect more points than not in this game because really the defense, especially on the Cardinals side, has been struggling so much. But I'm more worried actually about the 49ers offense getting things going fast because I'd almost rather play an in-game total or a second half total if things start off slow.
Tom, let's get to the business here. It's going to be another late night in DRS's household on Sunday Night Football. Detroit comes into Philadelphia. That line opened up 47.5. It's down to 46.5. Colder temperatures. Not as windy as the Meadowlands or maybe Buffalo that we're seeing, but still could be a factor. The Eagles are the favorite at -2.5 here. There's weapons all over the place. How do you play this game in Philadelphia Sunday night for you?
I play this as another under, and I know it may seem uninteresting with these two teams, but the way the Eagles have looked, we can say that they've had a ton of growing pains with their new offensive coordinator, and seeing the way the Lions can move on offense, you're like, hey, they can put up 30 points of their own. How are we possibly taking an under? The home road splits that Jared Goff has, specifically outdoor home road splits, are very, very bad when he's outside of a dome in cold weather. So despite all the offensive options on both sides, I see this as an under, and specifically the first half under is probably where I'll start. If I get to a second half total and Brady and I are doing this game on Sunday night, I think that could be very interesting. But I see these teams playing it very close to the chest because they want to put themselves in position to have home field advantage in the NFC because this is a massive game for that.
Now, I know the changing conditions in the sports betting landscape there, but I know Tom, he probably said, like, you know what? A.J. Brown to get a catch on the first drive makes a lot of sense. But let me ask you this. A.J. Brown at FanDuel right now is 4.5 catches plus 112, Tom. Come on now. Force feed the man the ball, Tom. How we feel about A.J. Brown?
Against that secondary, he should be able to get there. And if he can't do it in this matchup, I don't know.
That's Tom Vecchio. He's always doing it in every matchup for us here on the early line. Thanks for rising and grinding with us. For myself, Donnie and Joe, we'll be right back after this short break.
Detroit's going to be a top 6 team in the East. And they're going to be extremely dangerous. And it may be fun to watching that Central Division between Detroit and Cleveland. Kind of makes you think back to the old early 2000s with LeBron and obviously the Chauncey Billups-led Detroit team. But Detroit basketball's back.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF.
Is that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF.
So he's got
now.
an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72 to
Keep that dude away from polite society.
Okay, brother, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Newman's pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
I can just cash out and say, see you later, bye-bye, and sell that contract. So there is a big difference. I've already said I will never, ever, ever again make a future bet with a sports book where the money gets tied up and I have to wait till the outcome of the event. Don't have to do that. All future bets for me are going to Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And the major thing you're going to say about Tom Izzo for the jump is, Tom Izzo don't duck anybody. You want to hear who they have to play preseason? Kentucky, Duke, UNC, and Arkansas. This is not the Jimmy Boeheim Don't Leave New York Carrier Dome Classic. This guy plays people.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
to Football Friday, but we got to talk some basketball here on the early line on the Sports Grid Network. Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri. But, Joe, before we get to some of these other topics here, big news that did come down yesterday. Steph Curry leaving Under Armour in a mutual agreement and now a shoe-free agent here in the marketplace. That seemed to take more of a precedent than any games that were on the court. Were you shocked to see Steph as a free agent? And does he go to Nike or just does he go his own route at this point, do you think?
I don't know. That whole industry has changed over the years, but he was with them. What I couldn't believe is that he was with Under Armour for 12 years. Can you believe that? 12 years he was with them. And it didn't feel that long because I believe that was the big Under Armour when they got Steph Curry away from Nike. Then that was really what launched the Under Armour situation there, certainly in the shoe market. But like anything else, I mean, he's been around since 2013. Like, that's just crazy to me.
Yeah, it feels like the Steph Curry shoes are the ones that end up at like Burlington Coat Factory and like TJ Maxx. I've never seen a single person wear Under Armour sneakers anytime, anywhere, any shape, any form. So Steph's got plenty of money. He'll probably get more with a new shoe deal from somebody else, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe a new shoe deal here for Brunson because he injured his ankle, but it's only a grade 1 ankle sprain. Going to get reevaluated here. Good news, if there is any, for getting an injury here for the Knicks star.
Yeah, no, that is good news for them. Although I don't know that that's going to help them tonight here because they take on the Miami Heat in the NBA Cup. But listen, the sooner they can get him back out there, the better off the Knicks are going to be. You do not want him missing extended periods of time. But now that you know he's got an issue with the ankle, it's absolutely worth monitoring moving forward.
Yay, the NBA Cup. Get excited, people, huh? You know what else we can get excited for here? Zion. Hey, rinse and repeat. Hey, where's Zion at? Oh, he's rehabbing a hamstring injury. He's injured again, and maybe he's going to come back. But starting to get back on the court, endless, man. Like, cut your bait, New Orleans. Do whatever you have to do. Ship him off to the Lakers for a 3rd-round pick because he'll never play for the Lakers either. One of those players that we were so excited to see what he can do in the NBA, and when he gets out there, he is exciting. But, Joe, he's never out there, so it's not exciting.
No, it's not, Donnie. And as sure as I'm sitting here, at some point there will be a setback on his, on-court, workouts here, and then we probably won't see him maybe for a very long time in a New Orleans jersey because maybe they'll trade him finally.
How about Paulo Banchero here for the Orlando Magic? He's down with a groin injury. He'll be reevaluated here, but he will be out against Brooklyn tonight. And I guess that is a cup game tonight without Paolo.
Yeah, and where are the points coming without Paolo? I'm just curious there, Orlando. You might have to go back to being, a really defensive team. That first one to 100 wins, but we'll see how that works out for him.
How about working out tonight, Joe? Your Miami Heat in town in the most famous arena, and that is Madison Square Garden. The Heat take on the Knicks as 5.5-point underdogs and a high total of 237.5. Miami in town in NYC.
Yeah, should be a good one, but no Brunson here, and you got to think Miami was not happy in that last game that they lost to the backups of the Cavs at home, and they've all been talking about it over the last couple of days too. So I'm expecting a big effort from Miami, and I'm also expecting a ton of points in this game.
Nothing like a Sixers-Pistons game. Get the superstars out on the court and then go, well, I don't even know if many superstars are going to play in this game. Welcome to the NBA in November. 7-point line, down to 5.5 as a favorite now for the Pistons.
Well, we saw Detroit sit everybody a couple of games ago, Donnie. We gave them out here on the show against the Bulls, and their backups beat the starters of the Chicago Bulls, but it does look like they'll have Cunningham and Duran back, and Tobias Harris looks like he's close. So they'll have their full complement on this court here tonight. But like you said, with Philadelphia, those 5 guys are getting an awful lot of minutes through the start of the season. I mean, Edgecombe, Maxey, how many minutes? These guys are averaging 35 or more minutes a game here. Are they burning out the Sixers here, Donnie, is my question.
How about this? Are the Lakers going to take their game seriously tonight against the Pelicans? It's roughly a 10-point line here with a heavy favorite in public tickets towards the Lakers, Joe. Hint, hint. We'll have some action at the end of the show, but the Lakers by double digits here, huh?
I don't know. I mean, the Lakers looked atrocious against OKC last game out there as they got absolutely waxed. But, New Orleans has actually been at least somewhat competitive at home here. They may not win this game, but I don't know if they're getting blown out either.
And by the way, there is a festive atmosphere tonight in Dallas. Maybe no more Fire Nico chants. How about that? New wave here for the Mavericks in a new hour coming up next.